Hello and welcome to my video. Today I want to show you how to create those cute little stamps inside the Silhouette Studio, which you can then print and cut on your own using your Silhouette machine. So we will be starting with my illustration from my sticker sheet from my Etsy shop, which you can find on the cuteandglued.etsy.com. And not only you can get those as a physical stickers, but you can get those also as a digital download file in the form of the Silhouette Studio project, and you can print this and cut it on your own. But today we will be only using one of those illustrations as our base point or starting point for our small little stamps. And the stamp is fairly easy. There is this strange, not strange, but the stamp-like edge and the illustration, a little bit of text. So it's very simple design, and it's actually that simple that you can use the free version of the Silhouette Studio, which is called the Silhouette Studio Basic Edition, and you can just get it for free from the Silhouette website. Okay, so let's get started. I will jump into the blank document, and the first things first, we want to make sure that the page setup is set properly. So the size should be letter or A4 based on the area where you live. And what I like to do is I like to set the page background color, and I do it in the way that I set the grid. So in the grid settings, I enable the grid, show grid, and then I lower the spacing to a point where those lines are so close to each other, there is almost no space at all, so it looks like a page background color. And I will probably keep this pinkish color for now. So probably the most difficult stage or shape of the stamp is the outer path, or the background shape itself with those indents. And there are actually two different ways how to create this shape. So let me first show you the first one, which is a little bit faster, but you don't have much control over it. And we will start with the rectangle, and I will draw it in the size of the stamp like so, and maybe change the fill to a different color, maybe, I don't know, maybe white would be fine. And what I can do is I can increase the outline size to some very big number, maybe like 15 points or so. And I can open this drop down menu and change the style of the outline to be this one, which is dashed. But based on the settings, if I open the outline settings, I can set the end caps, or those are set by default to be round caps, so it will instead create me those little dots. If this would be set to different settings, it will probably give me just rectangles, but if it's set to rounded, it will actually give me those little dots. So the only missing point is we want to somehow subtract those dots from the shape itself. And in order to subtract, we need to first convert those into actual shapes, because right now this is just outline. So what I can do is I can jump to the modify panel, and in here I will select the detach lines. So this will detach the lines from the shape itself. So if I click this, now the dots are just individual objects with the fill color being set. So I can just undo the movement, select both shapes, and in the modify panel, so the same panel, I will hit subtract. So just like this, I get this shape. Now you can see it's not perfect, and there are actually not much what we can do about this, because we can set the size of the outline, but we cannot set the spacing, and we cannot set where the line actually starts. So you can see that the corners of the original shape are kind of messed up, and maybe the spacing should be a little bit smaller. So we need a very much bigger control over the shape itself, and we can do it in a different way. So let me just get rid of this rectangle. So I will hit the delete key, and I will draw a new one. So draw a new rectangle in the size of the stamp like so. I will make it white as well, but this time I will create a new circle. So I will draw an ellipse tool with the shift key being pressed on my keyboard, and I will make this fairly small. I will maybe change the fill to some maybe dark pink one. Then I will jump to the replicate panel, which is this one, and I will hit the replicate or object on path button and click the show grab handle, which will show me this small handle, which I can then grab and drag over another shape. So I will drag this over the rectangle, and watch what happens when I just put it over the rectangle. Now I have a lot of small circles floating around the shape of the rectangle. So what I can do is I can jump to the number of repeats. I will click in here and either press the up arrow, or I can press the up key on my keyboard and just increase the number of circles in a way that it somehow fills the shape evenly. So even around the corners we can have individual shapes like so. So when we are happy with the result, I will click release copies, which will create me those copies, select everything, and again in the modify panel I will hit subtract. I get this nice little shape for our stamp. I can probably change the outline to be no outline because we don't need to see any outline, and we can move to the inner side of the stamp. So for this one, I will draw a new rectangle which will be a little bit smaller than the stamp itself, like so. And I want to somehow use this illustration of the melon. Now, of course, you don't need to actually use this illustration. You can use any image, but for this case, I will use this one, this pink one. I will just copy it into clipboard, Ctrl-C, and paste it in our document, Ctrl-V. And you can see it's a little bit bigger than the stamp itself. So we want to make it a little bit smaller. We want to get rid of those top and bottom parts. For this one, we can use what's called the knife tool. So I'll open the knife tool and simply put some cuts like so, the first one and the second one, and this will just cut this image into 3 different parts. So we can just move those around and probably delete those because we don't need those anymore. We only need the middle part. Maybe I can do one more cut to make sure that the bottom is a little bit more even, like so. Okay, so we have the illustration we can put in here, and then we can select the rectangle and use the eyedropper tool to select this pink background color from the image, like so. I don't need any outline for this, so that's perfectly fine. Let me zoom in a little bit more, and the last thing which is missing is this text. So I'll open or select the text tool, type in number 1, and I believe I've used no outline, and I've used this dark violet color from the image itself. So I'll again use the eyedropper tool to pick this color. And for the font itself, I believe I was using Cartoon Slam, which you can use for free for personal projects. You can find it on web somewhere. I'll put the link in the description for this video. So I was using number 1 in here, like so. Maybe somehow cover those, or maybe make this a little bit smaller, just so it's not so close to the number itself. And then I believe I've used the same text, which is "You are one in the melon" on the bottom. So let me just type this quickly, or I can just duplicate this text. So duplicate one more time, make it much smaller, maybe 10 points, and type in "You are one in the melon." No. And it's still quite big, so I'll just make it a little bit smaller if I can select this text. Actually, the size is about right. Okay, so that's it. That's how you create your own little stamp in the Silhouette Studio. So the only missing piece is, if you want to print this and cut it, we need to have the registration marks. So in the page setup dialog, we need to open the registration marks tab and make sure that the style is set to type 1. And what I usually like to do is set the inset to be a little bit smaller, as well as the length, just so we have more space for printing the stickers. So the first thing is the registration marks. The second thing is we need to make sure that it will cut properly. So what I will do is I will select everything and group it into one shape, so object group. Then I can jump to the send panel, and you can see that by default all the shapes are being set that they should be cut. We probably don't need it, so we will select everything, set to no cut, and what we can do is we can select cut edge, and hopefully that will work, because it will try to select only, I will just try to merge all those shapes first and then set the cut line. Now there are some cases where this cut edge is not working properly, and it was actually my case of my original project. If I open this one and set to send pane, if I would select one of those stickers, not move it but only select this, set it no cut first and then select cut edge, it looks perfect. But if I zoom in, you will see that there are some imperfections. Actually, sorry, not moving. I want to just see. You can see that those lines would not be cut properly, just because even if you have invisible shape or the shape without any fill, it will still count for merging before setting it to cut edge. So you have to make sure that you examine those shapes properly before committing to cut edge. I mean, it could save a lot of time, but sometimes it could cause trouble as well. So let me jump to our new project, and in this case the cut edge seems to be working perfectly fine. So we not only need one stamp, we probably need more. So what we can do is we can jump to the design tab, select our stamp, and in the replicate panel we can click this fill page, which will try to fill this page with as many stickers as possible. And you can see that it even rotates those stickers, those stamps, so we can fit 9 in one page. And that's basically it. The next step would be to jump to the send pane hit File Print and print this on your printer, then put it on your mat and place it into your Silhouette, Cameo or whatever you have machine for cutting, and in here you will just click Send. Now of course you have to set the properties for cutting. They are already set on my end, so material is sticker paper white and the tool is auto blade, which will most likely be your case as well. But as for the depth setting, which is this wheel, and the force setting, sometimes you may have to adjust those numbers based on your sticker paper, and it takes some trial and error to get the numbers right. As for the speed, it's not that much important, it's just a matter of time how much you want to wait until you will get those stickers cut. And for the number of passes for materials like sticker paper or stickers, it's always set to 1. It should always be set to 1. And so that's it. That's how to create cute little stamps inside the Silhouette Studio in almost no time. Again, if you like my stickers, or if you like stickers in general, make sure to check my Etsy shop, which you can find on the cuteandglued.etsy.com. And I hope to see you next time. Also, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put those in your comment section down below the video. Thank you for watching and hopefully see you next time. Bye.